Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at the super mission for the Broly Red Zone. So this is using a team of super class units that consist of a super physical unit, a super tech unit, a super AGL, super strength, and a super int unit. So all of the different typings obviously that are available in the game, and you need to use superclass versions, which means a bunch of heroes. Now obviously Broly poses quite a few challenges, and so what we'll do is we'll talk about Broly first and then talk about the team build. So obviously Broly has 4 phases: a strength phase, AGL phase, strength phase again, a strength phase, tech phase, strength phase, and then an AGL phase. There's a couple of issues that you have to face. So firstly, evasion is completely disabled. So damage reduction, guarding, both of those are going to be your best friends here. Evasion, not so much, really bad. Then in the first phase, you can actually stun Broly, so stunning him would be a pretty good call. Sealing him is also pretty good. However, unfortunately, from the second phase onwards, you're not able to do any of that stuff. So that's all pretty straightforward. Then you have the boss being immune to attack lowering, being immune to defense lowering, which is obviously kind of consistent between hard content. And then the big issues are the third phase, where Broly will launch an AoE super attack, and then the fourth phase, where Broly will fire multiple super attacks. He doesn't always fire 2 super attacks, he can fire up to 2 super attacks per turn. So this is obviously causes people quite a few issues. So the first big issue when you're using a all type team is, well, so how do I survive the AoE strength attack if I have a physical unit? The key to that is, well, A, trying to get the physical unit to not be on rotation during the strength phase. This will reduce the amount of time they are out there and help you cope with this phase better. Secondly, second important thing is obviously the final phase. Because Broly can fire multiple supers, you need units that are quite defensively sound. Now I've found that there's quite a few builds that can actually take on this event. Obviously with the advent of 200% leads in the form of the powerful comeback, the Goku's family, Super Saiyan combo lead, the movie Heroes Join Forces one that I'm currently running. There's tons of great leads for this. Obviously a Super Saiyan Gods led team would be pretty good. You can definitely use that team, but personally speaking, I like this team that I'm using. It's very sound, and I think it's very, very good. Obviously it's just going to be up to you, but yeah, it just depends on your box. The final phase also gives us a big problem, because any strength units we're using obviously are also going to struggle. Any fight that goes through 3 typings generally causes you quite a few problems, because you can't necessarily run 3 typings that counteracts 3 typings in your team. So it makes these kind of all super class challenges pretty tough. Like if you look comparatively to Omega Shenron's only 2 typings, so even though yes, he obviously will counter those units that are naturally on your team, he's only really ever countering 2 types, and so you can always kind of work around that in a sense. Whereas Broly counters 3 typings, and the tech phase can hit surprisingly hard, so you do need to be somewhat considerate of what AGL unit you bring on. You then need to consider obviously the AoE strength phase, and then of course you need to consider the AGL phase at the end. So there is quite a lot that goes into taking on Broly. But yeah, so in terms of team build, in terms of items, taking a Whis, always going to take Whis. It's just kind of the best item until they come with like maybe a single turn 80% damage reduction or something, or until they come with like a 30% damage reduction but like 10% heal or something a bit different. Whis will always be kind of the go-to unit, or go-to support item, at least for me. In terms of memory, Ideally, you can use quite a few memories with this. I don't think I utilize a support memory here. You can use a couple with this build though. Movie Heroes one, you can use any superclass ones, you can use the 5-turn Bojack one. There's quite a few different support memories I think that function really well with this in terms of the stage and everything like that. So yeah, and this team build does also have a couple, so you do have quite a few options. You're not entirely left out in the lurch. So in terms of units and in terms of the categories that we're building with, so I've gone with a Movie Heroes team led by the brand new Goku and Vegeta. Goku and Vegeta are a unit that is getting a tiny bit of flack from the community, but I think that's just people being a bit pedantic. They're just an augmented version of Tech Gogeta or of the Strength. You know, Goku and Vegeta, both of those, well, one of them's on this team right now. So just obviously a alternate version of those units. So they're very, very good. The reason why I go double AGL is the physical unit for me poses a lot more issues than having the strength unit. So I'll give you an example. The only real physical unit I could think of using here was the Super Saiyan Goku and Super Saiyan Vegeta Angel unit that turns into Gogeta. That unit is difficult to use because it's very susceptible to the strength phases. Whereas the strength, Goku and Vegeta, they have 30% damage reduction. So if I pop a Whis item in the AGL phase, they should be fine. Not saying that they're going to survive a super, although they probably will. It's just that, priorities. So I went for the double Super Saiyan Goku, Super Saiyan Vegeta build. I don't have the Tech God Duo anyway, so this is the best that I could do. Obviously, they are joined forces and Movie Heroes category lead of 170%. They add an additional 30% attack, HP, and defense for characters who also belong to Pure Saiyans. They have 30% damage reduction, and then they will gain, they have 40% damage reduction, and then after 3 turns pass and after you activate their morale boost, they will be at 30%, and they also have a great chance of firing that additional super. It's quite nice that there's multiple strength phases because you can actually somewhat reliably get them to their morale boost, which is not critical but really kind of ramps up their damage a lot, especially at 55%. So it's a very, very good from them, and they really suit this event because of that. So I really like them. The active skill is also super helpful. Causing ultimate damage is always nice. Would have been nice if they raised their own attack, but it's not needed. Then we have Goku, obviously Super Saiyan Goku from part 1 of the World Night Celebration. Also just a very, very good unit for this event. Obviously pairs up excellently with Super Saiyan Goku and Super Saiyan Vegeta. Greatly raises his attack, raises his defense on his 18 key. He has guard, he has a revive skill, which you will see us use. And yeah, just overall, just a great kit. Like, you're going to see us use the revive skill to trigger a revive, to not waste items. Once he revives, he permanently has guard and has a high chance of critical. He can build up his attack and defense. Each attack he's taken, he can build up a really, really great defense off of his 18 key. So yeah, just overall, just pretty ridiculous unit. Just a great unit. Even at 55%, he can just handle this hard content so well. A lot of people, again, give him flack, but he really can just handle his own in pretty much any event you throw him into. He's kind of like a Goku version of the Berta and Gildo. I had a bit of a brain fart there. They're Raccoon and Gildo. He's like basically a Super Saiyan Goku LR version of that. So that is obviously quite helpful. I mean, you can see here, like, we're gonna be able to do some damage with Goku. He's going to take some damage. Obviously, he's stacked to the point where when he gets hit once, he doesn't really take too much more damage afterwards. But that's okay, because we have not used an item. We're not going to use an item. We're going to just get some free damage in. And then once our free damage is in, we're going to take the turn, basically. Which is great. You know, it is really awesome to be able to do that, to get this damage in. You know, get a bar and a half off of Burly. Or 2 bars pretty much, and then take the super, get completely nailed, get completely KO'd, and then just kind of come back, which I think is great. So obviously those two are self-explanatory. You've just seen them in action, really, really good. The Super Saiyan God Goku goes without saying, 77% damage reduction against movie boss enemies, kind of makes him a go-to unit here. By the way, I'm just going to actually let this play because this is pretty rad. So yeah, now you obviously get the revive, and yeah, this turn's relatively strong. Obviously we do have some concerns, you know, surrounding the physical Goku and Vegeta. That's just how it is. Even with the Whis, there is obviously always that chance that they die. But generally speaking, you know, it's pretty straightforward. Like they won't die as long as they don't take a super. And the rest of the rotation is so strong defensively with the Whis active. You know, God Goku's not going to take any damage. The Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta aren't going to take any damage, and then obviously you have the Goku and Vegeta that kind of can take damage, but obviously they end up doing fine. They'll tank normals more than fine, so that's really always super worried about. Getting the transformations with both units or the morale boosts is critical at this point, because that's when they get their crit. And if you don't have their crit, you are going to not run into a brick wall, but you're just going to lack a lot of damage. Getting the crit activated on these units is definitely better than most situations. And the extra 10% and the additional super attacks also do help. Remember, they need to morale boost to maintain the ability to fire additional super attacks. So there's a lot that's kind of going on there. Though obviously we have active skills, we have a lot of tools still that we can use. You know, we're going to interrupt the attack here of Broly. We've got Goku with his ability now to crit as well built in. We've got a second follow-up active skill that's going to do some good damage, just to kind of set the guys up. And yeah, just overall we are in a very, very, very solid state. Yeah, I'm using a Whis doubling up here, mainly just due to the premise of the strength Goku and Vegeta, kind of just wanting them to be able to tank relatively easily and be able to just handle everything pretty well overall. So yeah, it's a relatively straightforward affair. Obviously, you know, we have technically overlapped our Whis, but it's to play it safe, because at this point now we should have the damage with the morale boost kicking in on the other units next turn. We should have the damage with the Dokkan attack to pretty much take out Broly and to get rid of him. Yeah, but it is obviously still a risky play, but then when we return to this rotation is strong enough to handle Broly without an item, so we should be fine. Main concern is always going to be getting supered on the Goku and Vegeta strength, and even with the Whis active at 100% with their 30% damage reduction, they are just not liable to die, but we'd be in a very low health situation, and I just want to secure the win, so we're not going to really focus in on that at all. So yeah, obviously we get the second morale boost and everything's okay from here. Just around that, the team, obviously I didn't really specifically highlight them, but it's the physical Super Saiyan Goku and Super Saiyan Vegeta Angel, and obviously it's the Int Super Saiyan Goku and Super Saiyan Vegeta. So obviously kind of, I guess, as a rundown on them. They obviously bring a heal. You've seen we used Vegito's. Vegito's great after he transforms, damage reduction. Gogeta a little bit less useful, obviously, because evasion is deactivated. But he'd still be fine to tank normals after an attack with a Whis active. Yeah, and they just did it for that. Obviously, like I said, we highlighted the risk section. The risk in having, the physical Gogeta essentially running on our team during those strength phases. You do just have to take a little bit of a risk there. I mean, you'll see I had them there for 1 rotation, let them tank 2 attacks, and just kind of let it be. And you just have to sometimes take those small risks when you really want to have a comfortable ending. Didn't have to do that. Could have used a Whis. Could have managed the stage a little bit better. Wouldn't have obviously double overlapped the Whis at any point then. But yeah, generally speaking, you can obviously still do it, even if you use an item there. It will always depend on a little bit of luck. Maybe you have the SS God Duo as well. You can always sub them in instead of the Super Saiyan Goku. Genuinely are a better unit. But yeah, for this event. But yeah, either way, it's just going to depend on like what your team is, what your function is, what your box is. That's always, what your box is will always determine what kind of team you can run. But yeah, overall it was pretty straightforward. Now only obviously the turn missions left, so we'll definitely give those a try. But yeah, that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed the video, and bye.